The issue of northern energy came up in Queen's Park. Here's the exchange.
This question is to the Minister of Energy. Speaker, several weeks ago, I stood in this House to remark about the tragic suicide of a 13-year-old Karlena Kamenawatamin from Bearskin Lake. I mentioned how Karlena and her family had gone over 7 years without running water or electricity in their home. The state of affairs that would outrage anyone if this happened to them or their family. Ontario Hydro Remotes had made a decision to cut the electricity to Karlena's family for reasons beyond their control. So, Speaker, I am left to wonder, where else in this province would Ontario Hydro be allowed to get away with such actions as this?
Minister of Energy, Northern Development and Mines.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the honourable member's question. Of course, we're working on a comprehensive plan to ensure that all of Northern Ontario, all of Ontario, but frankly, Northern Ontario, if I may, has the kind of reliable energy system that serves both families and isolated and remote communities, as well as existing industries, that we can be competitive, that we have an opportunity to ensure that during the harshest of temperatures, the coldest of winters, families and businesses can continue to operate with a safe, contiguous electricity system. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary.
Ontario Hydro Remotes currently operates 24 fly-in First Nations communities in Northern Ontario, but clearly something is not working. One solution that may be the Watiniganiap transmission project. Watiniganiap means line that brings light. A project of 22 First Nations that will connect 17 remote First Nations communities that still reliant on diesel fuel for power. Better lives and more opportunity for the youth, for the north is something I believe all members in this House can support, so that all other Indigenous youth will not have to grow up the way Karlena did. So, Speaker, I ask the Premier and the Minister of Energy and Indigenous Affairs, will they commit today to support the Wate Power Project?
Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, thank you. After more than 8 years of my life living and working in these isolated communities and seeing firsthand the unreliability of diesel, certainly the costs and the environmental consequences of it, there is no question that a comprehensive plan for energy transmission throughout Northern Ontario, particularly in Northwestern Ontario, as the member points out, more than 25 isolated communities have an incredible opportunity. It isn't just about energy transmission, it's about bundles for technology, it's about roadways. I don't think anything could be more important than when we look at north-south corridors, east-west corridors, east-west ties, we ensure moving forward that all of our communities, including the isolated and remote communities that rely on sources of energy that must change over the course of time, didn't over more than 15 years, as we say in Northern Ontario, the decade and a half of darkness will be changed under this government. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.